hello there, and how are you? I've already prepped my face with Village Barber shaving oil. My razor today is going to be this Merkur Progress short handle razor. I'm going to start out on a number 4 setting, 4 out of 5, because I've got about 3 days worth of growth here. My blade on its first use will be one of these Euromax blades. There's what the tuck for that looks like. And my soap is going to be the Provence Bergamot and Thyme shave soap. There's what the tin looks like. My brush, which I've already lathered the tips of anyway, is the KC Shave Company Silvertip Badger brush. I've got a little bit of hot water here in the sink. I'm going to re-wet just the tips of that, try to get a lather started, and I hope you're all doing well out there. If this lather ends up being too thin, I'll lather the brush some more. I had just lathered straight out of the tin. This might do for the first pass, but between passes I might go off camera and lather some more. Sometimes when it doesn't look like I've got a lather on the brush, it ends up making a huge poofy lather, and other times it doesn't. That might depend upon the soap and how much time I've taken lathering. That will be okay to start with for first pass, I believe. And let me go ahead and drain this water that's in the sink and wet my razor. And pass number 1 with the grain. Here we go. Rarely do I use this razor above a 3 or perhaps a 3.5 setting out of the 5 settings it has, if you don't count the half. Yes, sir. Nice so far. Probably could have used a little bit pastier lather, but I'll go kind of easy here. The razor and the blade on this setting are pretty much just mowing the whiskers down. I'm going to rinse this. It probably won't take long to rinse. It's kind of a thin-ish lather I've got and a wide blade gap for the moment. So see, that that rinsed the lather out already, so I'm not even going to put a transition in there. I might for later passes if I dial this down somewhat and get a pastier lather. Let's see what we can do here though. I'm trying to think. I may have used this soap on the channel at some point. I'm not sure. But now I have the matching balm that goes with it. I know I used that in a shave of the day photo, or a shave of the day which I just took a photo of and didn't record otherwise. Okay. Yeah, that didn't take very long either to rinse. The longest part of that was rinsing some excess stubble out that had gotten stuck in there. I saw some stubble go out into the sink at any rate. Now, if I can keep the shave comfortable, I'll keep this on the 4 setting for a while, perhaps for the duration of the shave. Ooh, I may have cut myself there. Perhaps not, but I felt the blade go over this area right here in a way that it should not have. A way that hasn't been as smooth as the rest of the shave. So I had it at a bad angle there. Some people think that because I shave over certain areas repeatedly that I have very resilient skin, but that's not necessarily always the case. That's the first pass just mowed down. I'll pop out, pop back in for a second pass across the grain. Okay, pass number 2, across the grain, here we go. I'm keeping it on setting 4 for right now. Still quite a bit of audio feedback. But again, the razor and the blade do appear to be mowing the stubble right down. Another problem I might have had with my lather this time, although it wasn't a horrible lather, but it wasn't as good for the first pass as I might have liked, because I did re-lather the brush a couple of times to try to get a thicker, at least or pastier lather for this second pass. But one of my problems was when I prepped my face with the shaving oil, I didn't wait as long. I lathered right away, which I usually do anyway, but sometimes it takes me longer to lather or longer to get my shave goods together that I'm going to use in a video. And so it didn't absorb, it didn't have as much time to absorb because I pretty much began shaving almost straight away, or right away as we say here in the States, after I put the oil on. Excuse me, I'm going to try to rinse this. Now you see there again, I don't need to put one of those page turning transitions on because it didn't take me forever and a day to rinse the razor. When I think it's taking too long, I'll put in a page turning transition and kind of cut to where I've already rinsed the razor. Those of you that are familiar with my videos already know that probably. If not, you can go to an older video and check that out. But several times lately I've just been keeping the razor rinsing in because it just hasn't taken as long. And that's not me improving my rinsing technique necessarily. That's just, razors with wider gaps, or razors that I guess are just designed in such a way that they rinse easily, even if the lather should happen to be kind of pasty. This razor on a 4 or 5 setting has quite the blade gap, although I don't know if you'd be able to see it now because it's got gunk in it. And I'll have to be careful because I'm using a wider gap on this razor, a higher setting than I normally do. Again, a pretty quick rinse. No need to cut it out of the video, I mean. Oops, careful, Don. Kind of got my earlobe there. I hear my stomach gurgling. I don't necessarily feel hungry. I think I might have eaten something I shouldn't have. Or a combination of things I shouldn't have. I hope I don't get sick. I feel okay so far. Although I have some bad news. and none of you know this fellow, but a fellow that used to live here in my building, apparently, if what I've heard is true, he passed away this morning. He had COVID, and which was a shock to me, because he's a couple of years younger than me. And he passed away in a hospital up in a larger community near here. He was fine the last time I saw him. It was sad. I guess he was on a ventilator, and I heard that last night that he was ill. Coincidentally, I guess, because I didn't know about any of this until just yesterday, and then today I found out that the fellow passed away, unfortunately. Coincidentally, a day or two before that, yeah, on Thursday, I got my second vaccination shot. At Walmart, which is also where I got my law degree and my Doctor of Medicine diploma. But seriously, they're giving out the Moderna shot, and all you have to do is walk in. In most cases, there's no appointment necessary, at least not in my little community here. So get vaccinated, folks, please. I don't want to lose any of you, and trust me, you don't want to lose yourself. I'll be right back, and then we'll go against the grain. Okay, we'll begin to go against the grain here. I'll start on my neck this time. If you saw me looking at my left hand right before I cut there, I don't know if that stayed in the video or not, but I was holding the razor and I was telling you we would go against the grain. Then I realized the finger I was using on this hand to point up, as in against the grain, and I was like, God, I hope nobody thought I just flipped them off, especially after speaking of something as serious as I was. Yeah, go get vaccinated if you haven't already. The only problem I had with getting vaccinated was after the first shot, and it was because that same woman, a nurse, I think, or a nurse practitioner, whatever, someone allowed to give shots, someone licensed to do it. The first time she gave me my shot a little bit too high up on my shoulder, and that hurt. I felt it, and my arm was sore for a couple of days, pretty sore, so that I could lift it, but it was hard. It was difficult if I had to lift anything of any weight. This time she did the shot a little farther down, and although that's still just a tiny bit sore right there, it's not bad right now. Someone's trying to call me on my phone, which I'm using as a camera now, but I'll let that wait for right now. Although by all rights, I suppose I should stop everything and answer that call, or call back. I'll do that very shortly, because that's one of my neighbors who knew that fellow that passed away, and she gave me the news that he was not feeling well. Let's see. Well, more than not feeling well, she did say that he was on his deathbed last night, and I found that so hard to believe. And even though I'm kind of an agnostic at best, I went ahead and said a prayer for him. But I didn't realize, or didn't know for certain, that he was on a ventilator, and I guess it was very bad. Excuse me, I'm going to rinse, but I probably don't need to cut out the rinsing. See, it was pretty quick. See how I'm doing on time? I'm doing good on time, or at least doing okay. I had called this lady that just tried to call me earlier today to ask if it was really true that this fellow, 2 years my junior, had passed away. But I'm almost certain that he did, because nobody, not even around here, would joke about something like that. Some people might have their information wrong about certain things, but no, the person that told me about it, a fellow that lives here and knows both this lady that just tried to call and the fellow that supposedly passed away. He was the one that told me this morning, and he's not usually, you know, like a gossip or somebody that gets his information wrong unless we're talking politics. So we decided not to talk politics. That's another story. Gonna rinse again. I suppose if nothing else, somebody, ooh, I did miss a little, still do have a little bit of gum one side of the razor. Yeah, that looks a lot better now. There might have been some water droplets, which is not bad, but sometimes water droplets will appear to be clogs in the razor too. I don't know. But yeah, this might be a good study in people living in close proximity. And but I don't think we're playing telephone here. I think what I heard is probably the truth. I'll put it this way, I don't think it's made up out of whole cloth. It's probably exactly as I was told. Sure would be nice to find out that it's all hogwash and that the guy is alive and kicking and doing fine. As we used to say when I lived in the St. Louis area, and they said this all over the country, alive and well and living in the suburbs. That's what I would hope would be the case. We're alive and well and living somewhere good. Okay, I'm going to pass, oh jeez. I'm going to pop out for a minute. I'll come back, and then it'll be that time we all look forward to, I guess, pickup time. Well, let's see, I'm still using what lather's left in the brush. And I don't know, oh man, I did get myself there on the ear. I didn't even feel that. That looks a lot worse than it feels. There's a bloody mark there. I'll put some alum or Steptic pencil, pretty much the same thing, on that later. I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, look what you can do if you're not careful. And it's funny, I see things that look like weepers here, but I can't see them in my mirror. Anyway, I believe I'll just keep this on setting 4, and here we go, pickup time. Oh, here's a magical clock. And considering what I've been talking about, a clock could remind us of all sorts of things, like how we all our lives are, you know, finite. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, thanks, magical clock, wherever you went there. Boy, sure got my ear. Yeah, I still can't feel that. The thing I feel worse is something that didn't even open up, or it should have been a cut right there. And it's almost as if this blade is so thin that it went through the skin but didn't open it somehow, if that makes any sense. Seems like any kind of cut should open the skin, but I guess this is a fairly thin blade. Oops, I gotta be careful here. I'll switch over to the other side. Maybe next time I'll bowl lather with this soap. But it's okay so far, as long as I don't do anything really stupid. I'm going to rinse the razor one more time right here on camera. Well, that time I guess some gunk did kind of build up in there. It took a little longer to rinse, but I don't know, this is pretty good. Now I feel like I'm just gilding the lily because this is pretty close to BBS right now. And pretty good shave. Yeah, it feels real close. Again, I'm just kind of gilding the lily. It might be unnecessary. Yeah, that's good enough. Good shave, 4 setting all the way. Yeah, very nice. I'll come back. In the meantime, I'll rinse the razor, rinse the brush, rinse my face. I'll come back with our good friend Mr. Towel to dry off. I'll begin a brief recap and put the finishing touches on the shave after that. I believe you all know Mr. Towel. Whew. Oh, oh yeah. Oh. Oh. Recently laundered and very soft, Mr. Towel. Oh. And not being one to brag, he's still pretty humble, Mr. Towel here. Where's Don? Oh, last time I saw him, he was in the bathroom talking to a towel, carrying on a conversation with it. I think we should alert the authorities. Okay, I did get a little bit of blood on Mr. Towel. I guess I wiped the towel over my ear where I'd cut it. And this right here that I was telling you about feels more like one of those paper cuts that doesn't even bleed. But I evidently caught myself in the ear, and I think that's starting to close up. I hope. I splashed a little cold water on it also when I was rinsing. Well, before I began this shave, I started out, I prepped my face with Village Barber shaving oil. A great product, but let it soak in for a few minutes, folks. Do that with any shaving oil if you use a shaving oil or a beard oil or anything to prep your face before shaving. A cream you might be able to get away with just shaving straight away after you lather, but with an oil, my advice, which I got from a friend, I watched Friendship Shaving speak of this. He just mentioned it in one of his videos, and I'm like, makes sense. So let it soak in. My razor was the Merkur Progress, the short handle one. I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but it's on a 4 setting there. That might be hard to see. My brush was this KC Shave Company silvertip Badger brush. Too bad they're out of business. I almost forgot to mention my blade on its first use was a Euromax blade. And my soap has been this, I forgot to tell you the first time, Provence Bergamot and Thyme. I think I just said Bergamot and Thyme, but it's Provence's Bergamot and Thyme soap, which has a very mild scent, sort of like soap and bergamot and thyme. Okay. Now, I'm going to reach over here for some of this, and I'm going to need to get more Thayers Hazel the Lavender. You can probably see by looking at how the label is and how little I have left. It's been used a lot. Not in every shave, but it's been used a lot. Nice stuff. A very light lavender scent. No alcohol, because it's a toner, not an astringent. That is to say, it's strictly a toner. Not a toner with some alcohol in it. Added, I should say. Like a lot of times you'll see Witch Hazel store brand, usually with, I think it's 14% added alcohol. I think even Humphreys and Thayers may have versions that have alcohol in them, although perhaps just straight witch hazel with no scent added. I'll show you that again. How am I doing on time? I guess I'm okay. Thayers Lavender Witch Hazel. Coming up next, something my old roommates, Josh, who you've seen on this channel, and Susie, his former fiance, years ago, they got me this when we lived in a large city nearby. We were all roommates. This, let's see, what is it? Shea Moisture Shave, Tea Tree Aftershave, and Bump Preventer. Herbal elixir, it says. It says it prevents and heals. You used to be able to get this at Walgreens. I know you can get it online, but Walgreens may still sell it. I don't know. That's here in the States. I don't know for sure where you would get it in another country, but there it is again. Probably online. This has no well, sort of a sweet odor to it. Not a very strong one. It does have alcohol. Boy, I feel that burn. And it's got tea tree oil in it. I used to use tea tree oil as a pre-shave. I would get that at Dollar General, I think. The Hollywood Beauty brand, which you can get online or anywhere. But I don't have any of that anymore. I used it all. So, okay. Finally, our last thing. Something I didn't used to have, and I've only used once since it came in the mail. The Provence Bergamot and Thyme aftershave balm. Right there. Might be a little shiny. I mean the middle part of the tube. I gotta get finished here pretty quick here, but we're almost done. Whoa. Came out pretty fast. That's probably more than enough right there. I'll get that going in my hands. Smells nice. Definitely smells like the soap. Perhaps even a little bit stronger. The soap has a mild but noticeable scent of perhaps only a 2 out of 10 for scent strength. Now this, of course, I had it right in my nose, so to speak, held my hands that were covered in it up to my nose, but it smelled like this balm might be say a 3 out of 10 for scent strength. And then what you thought of the scent itself would largely depend upon what you think of the scents combined of bergamot and thyme. And that's about it. Really nice. Let me put the cap back on this tube and show it to you one more time before I finish here. There you are, the Provence Bergamot and Thyme aftershave. Yeah, aftershave balm. Okay. I'm done. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Get vaccinated. And we'll see you next time. I hope and pray we all see each other next week in good times. Oops. Use my dominant hand for this piece.